Bobcat fans, it's Al Weston here, Sports Information Director for Georgia College. Joining us for the Bobcat Coaches Show is head coach Joe Samprone from the cross country programs. Thanks for joining us, Joe. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. Good to be here.
All right, Joe, we're 2 weeks into the season now, and this is the first time we've been able to talk to you. They got Steve Carey in here last week, but talk to me. We got 2 races under the belt, and you got it all figured out now, right?
Yeah, it's all done now. Might as well just go home. It turns out that on the women's side, we have women's cross country and men's cross country. On the women's team, things are really falling into place. I can say we're probably 7, 8, 9 deep there. On the men's team, it's a little less certain at this point. I don't think we've ever been as solid in the top 4 on the men's team as we are right now, but we're searching for our 5th runner. And as you know, Al, in cross country, the team's only as good as the 5th runner. You have to add up the finish of the first 5 people. We've got a couple of guys that are looking real good. They're coming along, but as you said, it's only been 2 weeks so far. It's a little early in the season, and but we're still looking for who's our 5th, and I'd really like to have a good solid 6th, because at conference and regionals we can take 7 guys, okay. And you just want to have a little backup there.
Sure, sure. And going into the women's side, I guess a little bit more specific, do you have any plans of bringing in more nursing majors to continue to bolster things up? Your top 3 right now are all
right.
Nursing and pre-nursing, right?
That's right, they are. The nursing program has been good to cross country at Georgia College.
I only mention that because my wife's the advisor over there in that department, of course.
Yeah, but nursing gets a little tough. For example, this morning in practice, we had a couple that had clinicals. They couldn't go to practice. But no, we have Carissa Ekstrom, Ashton Pacino, and Allison Loans are all in the nursing program right now, and they've been our top 3 runners the first 2 races, and I see no reason why that can't continue. I'm sort of hoping for a little jockeying around. I'd like to see number 3 beat number 1. I'd like to see number, like that. But they've been pretty solid in our top 3 in every practice we've had and in the 2 meets we've had, and I don't see any reason for that to change. Although I'd like my number 4 and number 5 to beat all of them, and that way the team just keeps getting better and better.
There you go. Well, we talked a little bit about Ashton in the preseason, and she's been a pleasant surprise.
Yes.
Really had boosted things from her freshman campaign. Good work ethic there. I mean, what's helping her out?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just, and I always tell runners when they come in, both on the men's side and on the women's side, we're one of those early fall sports, as you well know. For example, we started our practice August the 10th this year. School didn't start until the 15th. So when you're a freshman and you come in, it's pretty tough. There's a lot of changes going on in your life. And by the time they adjust to campus life, our season's over in October. So it's not unusual for someone in their freshman year to come in and just be overwhelmed by everything. And it takes until your sophomore year to really get in the groove and be able to plan your time and make sure everything works the way it's supposed to. So Ashton just came back as a sophomore this year, and I mean, she was a top 5. She would hit 5th place last year. She's a solid 3rd right now, challenging for 2nd. So she's really made a big comeback. I mean, she's come back very strong for us, and we're very happy to have her.
You talk about that freshman adjustment, and one freshman that's doing it awful well for you this year is Rebecca Shane.
Yes.
Covering a lot of ground with those long legs of hers.
Yes. Right? Rebecca has, you recruit freshmen and you don't count on them because you know that there's going to be a lot of changes. They're going to have a difficult transition from high school to college. No one wakes them up in the morning except their alarm. No one checks their homework at night except them. So there's all those adjustments, but Rebecca's been a very, very pleasant surprise. She's running extremely well as a freshman. And Katie Tinker is the other freshman on the women's team, and she's making remarkable progress. She came in injured, and it's only been the past week or so that she's really been turned loose. As a matter of fact, she ran in our home meet, I think, after having a full practice about 2 or 3 days, and then she ran in the home meet. So we're hoping to see better things from Katie by the end of the season. I'm happy with where she is now, given how long she's been up and running. But we're hoping by October 22nd, which is our key date, that's our conference meet, I'm hoping she's a top 5 finisher. But like I say, the women's team is pretty deep, and I'd take any of those 5 out of the top 9 and would have a good team.
Okay.
And I have to say the one thing, though, that every cross-country coach says, barring injury or illness, because our season is quick, and if you're out for a week and it takes you 3 weeks to get back, it's over. So we just have to hope everyone stays healthy.
And that depth can go out the window pretty
quick.
Yes,
you can lose that real fast. One cold and 15 people practicing together, and then you got 15 colds, and then everyone's out for a week or so, and then you're really behind the 8 ball trying to get back into shape. So.
All right, let's switch gears to the guys' side. You know, Dan Horseman, Tyler Maddox, Colin Conroy. I mean, these are guys that, that are going to be in the tops of things for you all year long.
Yep.
You know, are you getting what you expected out of that crew?
Oh yeah, I'm getting. I mean, Georgia College can be very proud of its men's cross country team. They're most of them are seniors. Colin Conroy, he came back ready to go. And people have to appreciate we're out of season from November 1st until next August. So it's a long time without real competition, and to keep sharp is pretty tough. Colin came in, I think, in the best condition he's come in all 4 years. And Dan Horseman did as well, Tyler Maddox did, and Philip Lasky also came in top shape. And when I say we don't have a 50 yet, I've got 2 or 3 names in mind. Sure. It's just that they didn't come in as good a shape as the other guys did, and they're sort of a little bit behind in their training schedule. But they're working that out. I'm hoping to see a strong 5th and 6th finish this weekend when the guys go to the Mercer meet. I got the names. I could put them on a list. They're just not quite there yet. And again, one hopes that the top 4 or 5 guys on the team have been really working hard, and you just have to hope no rolled ankles, no fatigue. At the beginning of the season, we try to, get them ready, and then the middle of the season we try to maintain that readiness. We stop really working hard in the middle of the season because you just worry about an injury, you worry about fatigue. You can't run a race every week at full speed and then expect 10 weeks from now to be ready to go at conference. It's just, you just can't do it every week like that. So we're going to be about a week away from starting to slow down a little and work on maintenance rather than work on getting them in shape. They're all in shape now.
Unique setup coming up this weekend. Got the 2 teams going in opposite directions on the map. One to Macon, one to Aiken. The only thing about that's equal is that they rhyme.
They sound the same, yeah. This morning I said, am I going to Aiken or Macon? Let me think about that. Guys are going to Macon, and the women are going to Aiken. And the reason the women are going to Aiken is hosting our conference meet. And at conference in the Peach Belt about 2 years ago, we passed a rule that it must be 6K for the women. Normally women run a 5K. So the women's race in Macon is 5K. The women's race in Aiken is 6. Oh. So that's the reason the women are going to Aiken. The reason the men are going to Macon is a fast course. Our guys like to run over there. And they're going to run an 8K whether they run in Macon or in Aiken. Their men's cross-country conference is still 8K. It's only the women's that changes. It goes to 6. And because we've got a couple of freshmen on the women's side that are running pretty well, they have a good chance of being on our team at conference. They need to see the 6K. And most of our women, last year we run 6K at conference and at regional. They only see a couple a year. So I'd like to get them with that experience. But like I say, the men, they usually have a real good race over in Macon. And since we're still sort of hunting and fishing for 5, 6, 7, I want to put them on a course they're familiar with rather than take them to a course that they've never seen before. The men are going to preview the Aiken course. October the 8th, I believe, is our race in Augusta. And when we go over to run that race in Augusta, we're also going to go over to Aiken, which is about 30, 35 miles away, and the guys are going to take a look at that course so that they'll be somewhat familiar with it before conference. We're also going to go over the day before for the conference meet. They'll jog it just to see where the hills are and all that stuff. So they'll preview it later.
Okay. Well, folks, look for those results at gcbobcats.com. For Joe Samprone, Al Weston here for the Bobcat Coaches Corner.